gotta know. Please, sir. Yeah. Hey, what's up, world? It's just truly Eric Muslim Paka, executive producer, director of Africa, a Kung Fu story. We're less than 24 hours away from beginning our journey with our Kung Fu documentary in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. I'm here with the team of beauties, and I'm going to start off with Patrick Henderson. We've known each other for 17 years. I shot my first short film back in 2011 with Patrick. And Patrick, the one thing I want to ask you is, what does the song Africa by Toto mean to you?
Well, it's one of, if not the greatest tracks in the universe. So write that down.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just love the 80s. I love the 80s music, all that stuff. Obviously, when we got there, I felt the need because it was raining in Africa and I was alone. I was waiting for everybody the last time. So I just felt the song in my heart.
So Toto means a lot to you.
Oh, you know it.
But so I'm going to follow up with my second question. What character would you be if this was like an Avengers assembly?
I want to say Hulk, but I feel like maybe Black Widow is a little bit more.
I see you as a Black Widow. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your part in the project and this machine that we got going on?
So I'm going to be working as the production manager, and we're also going to be doing our schooling. What do we call those?
Workshop?
The workshops we're going to be doing. And I'm going to be teaching story writing and screenwriting for that. So I like to, I'm in locations. I love the idea of making it work. People always joke about, are you passionate about locations? Yes, I am passionate about locations because it is the problem that always needs to be solved. So that's how I see myself.
Dope. Cool. Okay, I'm going to start with next one. Mark, what is your part in this project?
So my part in this project, I'm the director of photography and co-producer of Africa, a Kung Fu story. So I traveled to Tanzania back in
2019.
January 2019.
January of, I guess, 2018 going into 2019.
It was January 2019.
Yeah.
So, it's a couple years have gone by. We learned a lot, and we're excited to go back. It's going to be a wild adventure.
And what are we going to be doing while we're there?
So we're going to be teaching the students a workshop for a couple days, breaking into teams, shooting some short films over there, as well going into the jungle, out into the country, and interviewing the Grand Master. And we're producing a feature-length documentary about these ninjas that are over there. So it's gonna be a crazy adventure. You never know what to expect, but I'm really stoked about it. And it's been our return has been years in the making. So.
Yeah.
3 years.
3 years.
What does cinema mean to you?
Cinema is I just have a lifelong love of cinema. So that is my art form. It's a form of storytelling. I think it's the best form of storytelling. It's fun. It's just a way to be creative. So,
Sweet.
Yeah.
Cool. You excited?
Yeah, I'm stoked.
Dope.
It sounded stoked.
And up next, the youngest member of our group, the young Jedi, Dan. Dan, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Dan. One of the components that I'm helping fill in this project is fight choreography. I'm a pretty physical performer, and what I'm offering the students that we'll be meeting is fight choreography knowledge and helping set up some action scenes with Stanton. So part of my role as to what I'm doing in the project is working with the students, and the thing is that these guys already have incredible talent. If you guys have seen them on Instagram before, they're exceptional athletes already.
Shaolin Temple, Tanzania.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah, except pretty much what I'm going to be doing is just teaching them how to dance with the camera, and then in conjunction with Stanton, he'll be dancing with them with the camera. So that's a little bit about my role.
Cool, man. Like, what does cinema mean to you?
Cinema, I mean, we were touching on this a little bit last night as well about how cinema is like a visceral way of showing people something as opposed to telling them. A picture can say 1,000 words just in an instant, and a movie can say even more. So I think that cinema to me is just a way of showing my perspective or highlighting a certain aspect of society, except really allowing the viewer to realize it themselves without me saying, this is what you should think. So to me, what I bring in with my performance and the way that I do my choreography or the way that I take part in the team is I want to express myself, but in a way that it still leaves room for other people to have their own conclusions and view cinematic pieces in their own unique way.
Cool, thanks, man. We got up next our stills photographer, the fantastic Mr. Photograph, aka Bougie Bong, aka Trevor B. Ball. Trevor, over the last decade, I've watched you develop into a very sophisticated artist and photographer, and the input you've had on your workload and how much output you've had in the last decade has been phenomenal. And for a moment of honesty, when you just got started in photography, I was like, didn't even think twice about it because I barely knew you. So I didn't see the capacity of creativity you had. And then we fast forward about 2 years, and honestly, one of my favorite photographers, hands down. And I'm not just gassing you up. As an artist, how does art liberate you?
Art liberates me in a lot of different ways, actually. Art liberates me, if I'm talking about just about myself for liberating, it gets me out of just the house to go do something. It gets me a simple pleasure and a simple enjoyment, because even just like one snap of a button for the camera could be like a lifetime achievement for me because of that moment that I've captured. If I'm speaking towards like another person, like looking at the work and liberating, I like to show the people what a frozen moment can create other than just a few words, or as they say, a picture is 1,000 words. Like, I don't want it to be just 1,000 words. I want it to be like, world renowned, or like, that's bigger in the case, of course, world renowned, but like, I want it to like pass as an emotion and feeling throughout the planet because people can relate to it. So that's very liberating to me, to have a person have an emotionally feeling attached to a photo that's particularly not even them and could be something totally something else.
What are you looking forward to in this trip?
I'm looking forward to I'm looking forward to a culture shock. I've never been to Africa before. I have not done any research about the thing, so I'm taking it on full blast for myself, which I really enjoy, because I want to, when I get there, I want to see what the culture is. I want to fit in. I want to just enjoy myself. But like, just going there to film this and be a part of a great crew of people is like, this fills my heart, because like, this is what I would love to do for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that's the goal.
That's hashtag goals.
Yeah, hashtag goals. Up next, last but not least, we have Stanton Chong. I had the pleasure of meeting Stanton last year when I was contracted to do a show, and he was the previs specialist. And what previs is before an action sequence is actually shot, they will have a rehearsal where they do a rudimental shooting of the fight scene. And some of the weeks were so like backlogged, and I have no idea how Stanton was able to keep up with productions at that level. So Stanton, the question I want to ask you is, as an artist, what was it about the camera that drew you in as your weapon of choice, your tool?
That's an interesting question, because the camera it's a perspective. It's a perspective of what you see, and what you see within a frame can tell an entire different story depending on what perspective you look at it from. For example, you guys are seeing us from the wide lens and from the narrow lens. From the wide lens, you can see the different reactions from different people. In the narrow lens, you just see me and us talking to each other. And within each lens, you'll see different stories. You can interpret it and see it in a different way. And that's the beauty of cinema, because whatever happens on set, whatever you see around, you can always move the camera in a different perspective to tell a different part of the story, a nuanced part of the story, and that allows you to get different insights to tell different emotions, and you're also able to evoke different emotions within the project depending on what you're trying to create. And that's the reason why I like cinema, that's the reason why I like the camera, and that's the reason why I like perspective.
And can you also tell us your part in this project and workshop?
My part in this project, for the workshop, my goal for this project is to help teach and facilitate the art of filmmaking and the art of action cinematography and the art of making action scenes look good. So my role in this workshop is to work with Dan as the fight choreographer to build a fight scene, to teach the students, to teach the kids, the talented kids, on how to make something look good while at the same time tell the story within the art of action, because I think that's what's important. And then within the entire project, the way I see this project is that I've come along to help make this project as good as possible, to make it as happy as possible, to make it a joyous experience, and to help each individual on the team excel in their craft, because we are a group of like-minded creatives who are trying to create something, to make something best, to make something as best as possible, to create art. And my job in this project is to help facilitate that, to bring out the best in each individual, and to also bring out the best in the students, so that one day we can all see this together and look at it as a beautiful experience.
Preach on! Stanton the Preacher
There it is.
Chong, bro! I like that. Mark, my next question is for you. So with a decade plus of experience as a DOP, cinematographer, director, and just all around bad motherfucker, what was some of the hurdles you faced when you were producing and distributing your first feature documentary?
So some of the hurdles that I faced when I was producing my first feature doc 5 PHI, it had to do with the storytelling. So in documentary, you're documenting the truth. So the story unfolds and reveals itself as you go, as you're filming. So I guess it was a balance of planning out as best we could the story beforehand, and then once we were in the editing room, the story kind of took a different turn, and it was challenging to organize everything into a cohesive story, break it down into different chapters and parts and sections. So I think for this one, we have to maintain the focus of the why. Why are we going there? What is the central focus of the documentary? And we just have to accept there's going to be a level of unknown on this adventure. So we have to try to plan as much the story beforehand as we go. And the editing, it's documentary is very challenging to find the story when you're in post-production. It's easy to start a documentary. The difficult thing is finishing it. So that's going to be the challenging thing, finding the story in post-production. So as best we can, like I said, we should break down the documentary into sections and parts in advance, plan out questions in advance, and then leave the rest to as we go. Like it's going to reveal itself as we go. So that was the most challenging part of my last documentary.
Amazing documentary, by the
Yeah.
way. It's like, when did that come out? 2016?
That came out in November 2016. It was released. You can watch it on Gaia Network, GAIA, Gaia Network. It's available there.
Check it out.
A couple years old, but it still holds up.
Cool, man. And Patrick, over the last few years, you've really developed into like a hilarious and exceptional writer. He's a very good sense of humor. So through that development, you've kind of learned a lot. The idea of putting together a pitch log. So what were some of the unexpected lessons you learned developing as a writer? Moving on to the section of now having to distribute and find somebody who thinks it's as funny as you think it is.
Well, I think what it really boils down to is you need to go into each, even when you're starting a project, you need to go into it with intention. So what is the story I want to tell? Why do I want to tell it? And what is the best method of delivery for telling it? Because if you are just looking for laughs, obviously there's comedy, but then there's also laughs and tragedy. Sorry to say that. But if you want to like have a message, it really boils down to what is the best way to get the message that you want across.
Cool, man.
And there, just say you're using horror. That is by you can look at the horror of everyday living and attach it to whatever you want, like wage stagnation or the destruction of unions or any one of a million things. But by making a correlation between the two without outright saying, oh, I'm doing a union movie or I'm doing this depressing thing, you can put it into another vein and it gives it a new life.
Cool, man. God damn, I love it. It's a good team. Good team here. Fucking team international over here. Dan, as a martial artist and professional fighter, in the beginning of your athletic career, what was it about the film industry that drew you in as an outlet for your voice and what you have to say as an artist?
Tony Jaa.
Hey!
I'm not sure if anyone's seen Tony Jaa.
Oh yeah.
His moves are so cool.
Yeah, hit him with that elbow.
yeah. I just saw I'm really partial to action, and yes, my first career was professional fighting, and after I did that for 8 years, and then I fell out of love with it one day after I had won a fight. I got my hand raised, and everyone was cheering. Oh yeah, and I was like, this is so boring. I was just over it. It was bad. I just fell out of love with it in like one day, which was the volatile nature of life. So I kind of went through a little bit of a soul searching period, and I was like, well, what else am I good at? Do I have any other talents? So on and so forth. And then I found action film, and Tony Jaa and Jackie Chan, Jet Li, Donnie Yen, all of these guys, just amazing performers, and I wanted to do that, and I was like, what a great way to recycle authentic martial arts knowledge, put it into a film place, and then I haven't wasted 8 years of my life. Except then when I started performing, I was so bad at acting, And I mean, technically bad at fighting as well, but like
Fuck,
the
I'm still
acting
bad
was-
at acting. Shit.
It was distractingly bad. And then I was like, oh, all right, I'll fix up this acting thing real quick, and then I'll get back onto the fighting. And then I also realized I was like, oh my god, acting is so hard, or I get very attracted to things that are really, really difficult. So the thing that attracted me towards action as a way of expressing myself is that it's almost like proxy for fighting, and then the acting and the expressing and whatnot. It's just so. It's, I think, really to answer the question in less words is just the difficulty of it. It's so difficult that it's like I'm never going to be like perfect at it. Like there's always going to be something I can just keep chipping away like, and it's so satisfying to have small wins, like just being able to make your punch read a little bit better, or just being able to throw a kick in a certain way, or like maybe you get a couple extra degrees in your splits and now your kicks look awesome and you can compare and contrast them with Van Damme and stuff. Like that's a fun thing to do.
That's a great reference. Thank you for putting Van Damme there. Bloodsport. Watch it.
My next question is for Stanton. Stanton, when you are filming a fight or you are directing, are you looking for rhythm? And what does rhythm play in telling a story?
I think rhythm is an expression of the filmmaker's innate style. I think I had a conversation with a friend one time, which was about rhythm. And everybody beats at a different pace, some quicker, some slower. And those who are quicker will portray a film a lot quicker. Those who are slower, more steady, more calm, will portray a slower, more calm feel. So rhythm for me, I think, in short, is a good expression of a filmmaker's soul. And I think it's important for a filmmaker to get in touch with that and tell that rhythm and story as authentically as possible as an artist. And as a result of that, you would be able to resonate with those who vibrate or maybe beat at the same level.
Cool, man. Cool, I dig that. And my final question is for Mr. Trevor Ball. As a photographer, what makes a great image to you?
For me, to make a great image is kind of what I was saying before. Watching the expression or the reaction or the response of a person viewing that photo, seeing what it means to them, and connecting to that photo, like I said before, whether it's them in the photo or something else or someone they know. That's, yeah.
Cool. So that's it. That's a little bit of an introduction to the team. Like I said in the beginning, we are less than a day away from 30 hours of travel, followed by 3 weeks of an adventure that I have no idea what's going to happen. But I love the people I'm with. Thank you all for having such incredible, insightful answers. And last but not least, Patrick, what is the greatest dirty joke you've ever heard in your life?
God. Don't do this to me.
I gotta know. Please. Yeah.
You're really putting me on the spot. I can't even
Please.
think of it.
Always gonna flop under these circumstances.
Thank you for sitting in and finding out a little bit about the team and what we're trying to do in Tanzania and what film means to us all as artists. And stay tuned. Follow us at Africa, a Kung Fu Story on Instagram, or check out our website, africaakungfustory.com. So stay tuned for an amazing journey into the unknown with 6 artists, friends, about to embark on this documentary. Stay tuned. And like I said, follow us at Africa, a Kung Fu Story. And much love and peace.
Yo.